Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Caden Kubler and welcome to Caden's Corner. This week in the NFL, a scout had this to say about Josh Allen. He is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. Immense talent, but he makes a lot of mistakes. He's underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage, tends to lock in on targets, more of a thrower than a precision passer, forces throws into traffic. Now, automatically, this throws me way off. Josh Allen, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the most respected players in the league. Obviously, he hasn't had the postseason success compared to a guy like Patrick Mahomes or even Joe Burrow. And I do agree with the fact that Josh Allen does make a lot of mistakes, but that's what you get with Josh Allen. You get a lot of touchdowns, you get a lot of big plays, but at times you do get turnovers. Last year at the beginning of the season, you saw Josh Allen with all these high turnover games, and it resulted in Bills' losses. And during the middle of the season, they flipped their offensive scheme around where they became more of a run-heavy team, including using the back out of the backfield more. And that was the big turning point for the Bills when people were questioning if they were going to make the playoffs or not. Now, I understand it's easy to look at Josh Allen and criticize him for not having any postseason success. Many people believe that he is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's hard to put him up there when you don't have the playoff wins. But I think when you go through and look who Josh Allen has lost to in the playoffs, it'll open your eyes a lot more. Now, in 2020, Josh Allen had his first playoff game before he had really gone into his prime when he eventually got Stephon Diggs, but this is when he faced a prime Deshaun Watson on the road in round 1 of the playoffs. He ultimately lost this game, didn't have the greatest performance, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 264 passing yards, completing 50% of his passes. But once he got Stephon Diggs the next year, you saw this Buffalo team make a run to the AFC Championship where they bet their match. They saw Patrick Mahomes for the first time, and this is when this Bills-Chiefs rivalry really begun. And then you look at the next year, in 2022, this is when the Chiefs and the Bills played, and Patrick Mahomes only had 13 seconds, drove them all down the field, and the Bills should have won this game. And that's his 3rd loss already in the playoffs right there. And then you look at 2023, they beat Miami in the first round of the playoffs when they had their backup quarterback. And then they played Cincinnati in the divisional round of the playoffs at home. And that was when Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals went into Buffalo and ripped out the Bills fans' hearts. And then the next year, Josh Allen against Kansas City again, and they're right in it at the very end, and Tyler Bass ultimately misses that field goal to tie the game up that would have sent it to overtime. So those are the 5 consecutive years that Josh Allen has been in the postseason. 3 of those losses have come to Patrick Mahomes, who is the best player on the planet by a mile. And the other losses come to Joe Burrow, who's arguably the only other quarterback in the NFL that is better than Josh Allen. I'm not going to hold that 2020 year against him because he didn't have Stephon Diggs and he didn't have any of his big-time weapons back then, but looking at these last 4 years with Diggs when he really entered his prime, he's lost to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. That's it. If you're going to call Josh Allen overrated, pull up all the quarterbacks in the NFL. If you're starting a franchise tomorrow, who are the quarterbacks that you're taking over Josh Allen? You'd take Patrick Mahomes over him every day of the week because he's Patrick Mahomes. I think a lot of people would take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen, but it's very close. Josh Allen has a stronger arm, he's more mobile, more athletic, and less injury problems. Those are the only 2 guys right there that I would definitively take over him. I'm not taking Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. I'm not taking CJ Stroud over Josh Allen. I'm not taking Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, any of these guys. I'm not taking them over Josh Allen if I had to create a team tomorrow. And if you only want to judge Josh Allen's body of work based off of his postseason success, so be it. But in the regular season, he's been the 2nd best quarterback in the NFL since 2020. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback in the NFL with a better plus-minus turnover to touchdown ratio since 2020. Josh Allen also has the 2nd most wins in the NFL in this time period. He also has the 2nd most passing yards in the NFL in this time period. And if you want to look at total touchdowns, Josh Allen has 174, the most in the NFL, 23 more than Patrick Mahomes since the year 2020. I think it's ludicrous that we're even having this conversation right now. Patrick Mahomes, who is a generational player at the quarterback position, is above and beyond the number 1 player in this league. But people want to judge Josh Allen, who is a close number 2 to Patrick Mahomes in every single stat since 2020. It absolutely blows my mind. Like I mentioned, Josh Allen is a 6'5" freight train of a quarterback who has a cannon of an arm, can make any throw on the football field, can pick up tough first downs with his legs, can run through defenders in short yardage situations to get his team in the end zone. You always saw Stephon Diggs' reactions on the sideline. Josh Allen was always cool, calm, and collective. This guy never was a diva. America. He never complains about injuries. He just goes out there and performs. And I think right now there's a lot of pressure on Josh Allen to show up next season, and I think it's unnecessary. You have people like this, an anonymous scout, saying that he's overrated. Well, he just lost Stephon Diggs, the guy that he made this massive leap with over the last 4 years. He also lost his number 2 wide receiver in Gabriel Davis, and the Bills lost a ton of pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I'm really curious to see how this offense is going to look next year. They drafted Keon Coleman out of Florida State in the 2nd round, who I have very high hopes for. He's a great jump ball threat, and he's definitely going to be Josh's number 1 receiver. But you look at this stacked up AFC, the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. Joe Burrow's healthy. The Ravens have an amazing team. The Jets now have Aaron Rodgers in a much improved team that are in the same division as the Bills. The Miami Dolphins are back and added Odell Beckham Jr. The Chargers now have a competent head coach in Jim Harbaugh. You can go through all of these teams in the AFC, and it just consistently gets better and better. But like I said last year, when the Bills were on the outside looking into the postseason, I said, don't let this team get hot, and most importantly, don't let number 17 get hot, because he's one of the best players in this league, and he's going to shock a lot of people this year with how he navigates the Bills into the playoffs. I'm expecting an MVP type year from number 17, and nobody should be counting him out. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.